Hi. My hair looks a mess right now, dude.
It's okay, mine does too. We just got up. Good morning.
Good morning.
But this is no morning vlog.
No.
This is teen random thoughts. So Maria has it on her phone since we're filming on mine, and we're just gonna go through our list of random thoughts. Some of them are more conversational, and some of them are just literally thoughts that we've had that just come to light, and we haven't seen each other's thoughts yet, so let's get into the video. We're gonna do one by one. We'll start with Maria first, and then I'll go next. And if you haven't met us,
Hi, I'm Maria.
I'm Emily. We are a couple.
And we make silly little goofy videos.
So subscribe if you like if you want to see more of these type of videos.
And
And
follow us on TikTok.
let's get into it. Now we will start the thoughts.
First one on the list is the Ellen DeGeneres scandal. And how fucking crazy that shit was. And the fact that it's tied to 9/11.
Okay, so 9/11. Gerard Way makes My Chemical Romance because he was inspired by it. And then My Chemical Romance inspired Twilight. And then Twilight inspired 50 Shades of Grey. And then Dakota Johnson was on the Ellen show because she was in 50 Shades of Grey where she exposed Ellen. And then everyone started coming out about how much of a shitty person she was after she was like, no, Ellen, that's not true. I invited you to my birthday party. And yeah.
So how often do you think about this scandal?
Pretty often.
What?
I want to talk about Bigfoot. I think Bigfoot is cool as fuck. And I also just feel like he's not as scary as everyone thinks. He's probably just like a big guy who likes hugs. That's it. I think he's just a big dude who likes hugs. And he's not trying to be mean. Kind of like sharks. You know how like sharks are just like, they're big fish that like, like obviously if they're threatened or if they're hungry, they're gonna eat. But like most of the time they just want to have fun and they're trying to be friends, but they don't understand that what they're doing is hurting you,
Yeah.
It's like the same thing. I feel like Bigfoot's just a guy who wants a hug. I think about Eraserhead a lot. The movie Eraserhead. That movie's just a mind fuck. I don't know if I ever showed it to you, but I need to show that to you at some point. It's David Lynch's first movie he ever made. Guy who did Twin Peaks and Mulholland Drive really gets turned into erasers when he's in a dream. It's not the whole movie though. The rest of the movie's also fucking weird. But I love it.
How does someone turn into an eraser?
It's not a realistic. Rhinos or hippos? Which ones are better? Personally, I like hippos.
No, rhinos. The horn's everything.
The horns are cool, but they're also scarier. So I feel like hippos are just big and stupid.
But they're just a big water animals that swim in a tiny lake.
And they're so hungry, like the game.
And also people have said that hippos are actually mean.
I feel like that makes sense, actually. I mean, like, they are
And
portrayed
rhinos
as...
could be sweet. That's my point.
You know what? I think you've converted me. That's a good argument.
I mean, sure, they have the horn, they could charge at you. But, like, realistically, are they going to do that unless you aggressively act?
I'm sorry if I offend anyone. This is purely based off of aesthetics and nothing about the identities. But which pride flag is the ugliest?
Basically, it's who in the LGBTQ plus community did the dirtiest.
Yeah, for real.
Flag.
Whose flag? Personally, I mean, okay, I've seen non-binary people make really cool designs out of the non-binary
Oh, are you
flag.
also thinking the trans flag? Because that's what I was thinking.
No, the trans flag is pretty. I like the trans flag.
I don't think it's that pretty. You guys did dirty. You guys need a better remodel. It's just going off of, like, what's assumed to be a girl color and what's assumed to be a boy color. And let's put white, because that's neutral.
Well, the white, yeah, it's, like, represents the non-binary aspect
I get the concept of it, and it's a cool concept. However, I feel like your flag needs to be cooler. Like,
Yeah.
maybe make it like a tie-dye pattern or something. You know what I mean?
Ooh, a tie-dye we should make a tie-dye lesbian flag too. Wait, that would kind of be sick.
Like, why is it always stripes? Okay, I
We
don't know about
can-
you guys. I
ooh.
hate stripes, and it's like a remake of the American flag. Who wants that?
You're making some good points. I can't even talk about our Taylor Swift lyrics. Specifically, you know, the whole touch me while you rose, play Grand Theft Auto debacle. What the fuck? What is the dumbest conspiracy theory that you can think of? Besides, like, QAnon, which is obviously stupid, but I can think of, I was more talking about, like, the Shane Dawson ones.
Oh,
Like how Avril Lavigne has a twin. I'm sorry, it's her cousin that's actually her now. And then, yeah, that's my favorite one. I think that one's funny.
Avril Lavigne.
That and the one where he was like, Rebecca Black's Friday is about the JFK assassination. Which obviously it's
I
not.
don't remember hearing that theory, but I think the
It's
dumbest
so
one is the
funny.
Avril Lavigne one.
I love the Avril Lavigne one.
My sister actually believed that, though, that Avril Lavigne had a twin.
I mean, when I was 12, I believed it's the craziest conspiracy theory that you actually believe. I can tell you that if you want.
I don't know. I've looked into several JFK assassination conspiracy assassination, so I did a lot of research on all the presidents that have been assassinated. Like, almost assassinated, we're just roping assassinated.
Yeah.
With that in the past, like Lincoln, JFK, I believe that all of them were connected somehow. Yes, there is a theory on this. I made a whole entire essay on this in school. Because we had to choose a conspiracy theory for history.
Crazy. You think they're connected throughout history?
Yeah, keep in mind this was up to 2019. This is excluding anything past 2019.
I feel like mine would just be that Marilyn Monroe didn't commit suicide. I think she was killed by the government because she was hooking up with JFK and he probably told her things, or they thought he told her things. So they were like, Miss Monroe's got to go. I mean, don't get me wrong, she definitely did have a drug problem, but they probably used that to their advantage. I don't think she died by suicide. I want to talk about Arby's, and I want to talk about the fact that I heard from somebody that they went there one time and the meat was green. And I don't know anyone personally that's ever tried Arby's. I don't know anyone who, I think I heard one person say they tried it, and then that was the person who went there and said the meat was green, and then they didn't actually eat it. And then I know another person who, I think I heard someone say they tried it and then they like threw up after.
Wow.
But like there's so many Arby's commercials, and like I can't even think of one that's the Friends theory. Okay, you know how like this is also just like a sidebar. Like there's so many, this show theory is stupid, and I think a lot of shows are like, it's all in this character's head, and that's their big theory about the show. And that shit kind of pisses me off.
How it's all in Rachel's head, I think it was.
No, Phoebe's. Because this one's depressing as shit. Phoebe's still homeless and living on the street after her mom, like, committed suicide, because that's, like, a real part of her character in the show. So the whole theory is that she's imagining she's having friends while living on the street. And I'm like, that's fucking depressing. Jesus Christ.
That's a very interesting theory.
I think that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard, and I don't think that was the intention of the writers at all.
Going back to conspiracy theories, one was Pretty Little Liars, and it was all in Mona's head.
Yeah, see, there's so many of those for so many different shows. There's one for Rugrats that it's all in Angelica's head. There's one for, like, was it Angelica? I think it was Angelica. I don't remember, but they have those for, like, every show in existence, and it genuinely pisses me off. I'm like, can we stop being like, it's all in their head, unless it actually makes sense. Because the next one is that Dexter from the show, like the TV show, and Dexter from Dexter's Laboratory have the same energy.
That's fair.
It's just the hair. Like the hair. The next one is that okay, so you know, not Fox News, like Fox, like the TV channel that has TV shows, right?
Okay, I've never heard of that.
Okay, Fox, like Channel 5, Fox.
Oh,
yeah, okay. Channel 5 Fox. The two longest running dramas on that channel.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they both ended now. But one is The X-Files and one is Bones, right? Both of the men starring in those shows are white men named David, and both of them were like heartthrobs in the 90s.
Weird.
Yeah. So David Duchovny, and David Boreanaz were both in those shows, and like David Boreanaz was in Buffy and in Angel in the 90s, and then the X-Files took place in the 90s, and everyone liked David Duchovny. So, yeah, basically they're both starring. Well, I mean, I guess that's not surprising, but the fact that they had the same name is funny.
Yeah.
That's it.
Oh, not this debate.
I think it is.
Saying cereal, you can eat dried cereal.
This is true.
So how is that a soup?
Cereal with milk. Is cereal with milk a soup?
No.
Well, cereal with milk, I would. Cereal itself, fine.
It's just cereal dipping. It's kind of like.
Well,
am I gonna call Oreos in soup? Like I dip Oreos in milk.
Well, no, because in cereal you have like a bowl.
Yeah,
that
people
you're
get
eating it out
bowl
of.
for Oreos and dip them in.
No, usually people just dip that in their mug.
Some people dip it in bowls. Have you seen?
Yeah, but that's not the same thing. That's like, that would be like not a hot pot, but like it would be like just a side then. It would just be like a side then. We're talking about something that is in a bowl with liquid around it. So like how pasta by itself isn't a soup, but if you put pasta in liquid, that's a soup.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing with cereal and milk.
But like I said though, cereal you can eat dry. How's it a soup?
Oh my god. I said cereal in milk. Cereal by itself isn't, like how pasta by itself isn't. Cereal in milk.
Nobody eats
is
pasta by itself.
Yes, they do. Have you never had pasta and tomato sauce? That's not a soup.
From your argument, it could be.
No, it's not, because it's not a giant liquid. Sauce is like not fully liquid. It's like it has to be like watery. This is like a pasty type thing. That's different. Sauce is different than broth. Milk is the broth in this situation. There's a such thing as a cold broth and a cold soup. So therefore, cereal in milk is a soup.
Okay, sweetie. I don't think cereal in milk's a soup.
You're wrong. Talk
Continue.
about how the lore of Fleetwood Mac is insane.
I had to go tie up my hair.
Fleetwood Mac lore is fucking insane, but not just for like the relationship reasons. I want to talk about Jeremy Spencer. Now, Jeremy Spencer was in Fleetwood Mac before Lindsey Buckingham and Steve Nicks were ever there, when it was still a blues band, right? Okay. Like when it was still Peter Green's Fleetwood Mac. Okay. Bro left the band to join the Family Cult. And if you don't know the Family Cult, look it up. He eventually left the cult. So, I mean, like, he's still alive, and he, like, performed when, you know, after everything, like, when Peter Green died, like, he performed with them, I'm pretty sure. So, like, he's normal now, but, like, that's some crazy fucking lore to have. Like, how the former Minister of Defense in Canada believed in aliens.
What?
Oh yeah, you never knew about that? Yeah, he like dead ass like talked about aliens.
Damn.
Like on interviews and shit.
To be fair, I think the aliens are real.
I think they're real too. It's just like funny that he was like, and he was like going, he's like, there's great little grays And then there's tall greens. Like, he would talk about the type. Defense, Canada. The defense minister of Canada was briefed on UFO sightings, and he talked about it. And so he basically, like, talked about multiple times how he thought aliens were real, and, like, how he knew aliens were real. And people thought he was being a goofy, but, like, Emily's turn.
So, my first random thought. So this can be a bit controversial because we all have our beliefs, right? Like, we all have different religions. Afterlife thought, which I know, I'm so sorry. She doesn't like hearing about the afterlife theories.
Go ahead. What is it? Tell me
You'll
again.
be okay.
I'll be fine.
Okay. So, afterlife thought, what if we all move to different planets when we die? We get closer to the sun. And then once we get to the sun is kind of like that heaven place or forever rest.
Wouldn't the sun just fucking burn you?
See, that's what we think because we can't get close to it. But maybe there's a reason why we can't get close to it.
So the reason why we all have Icarus complexes is that because we are supposed to be Icarus at some point. Icarus was the Greek mythology figure who flew too close to the sun, and people say, like, people who, you know, jump for shit like that and do stupid shit that they want to do.
Like, why are the planets all arranged in that order? Like, we don't know much about space, and I know that we're still finding now different things about, like, different solar systems and that, but what if, like, when you die, you lose all memory, and then you move to a different planet?
That's too depressing. I don't want to lose all my memories.
And then you move to a different planet pretty much, and you're reborn onto that planet and that way of life.
That'd be interesting.
And then you hop closer to the sun where you have internal rest and where you go back into the earth.
I feel like everything kind of is alive in its own way.
My second thought is why in the US don't we have to retake the road test after a set amount of years? Like, people forget the rules and drive worse over time. If we were tested, maybe we'd be better at driving.
You've said this before, and I kind of agree with you.
Like,
I feel like you should have to retake it.
People rage about
2 years.
I'm sorry if you're an older person, people rage about older people driving and how, like, they drive like they don't care anymore. Maybe because they have no incentive to care. They're like, oh, I'll forever have my license, you know?
That's a good point, though. I do see your point in that.
And, like, when you're older, you know what I mean? Like, if you're, like, a senior citizen age and you're driving, right? You can't say that your marbles are as good as they used to be. Or that you remember all your rules on the road. And I'm not saying, like, oldism. I'm saying if you're an old person, you have all your memory intact and you can drive perfectly, you should be able to drive. People shouldn't try to restrict that. And this would be one of the ways where it would be fair for everyone. For example, if a younger person, when they're 40, lost all sense of road rules from when they were 16, and they had to retake it and they fail, then that would just show you that over time, you do become worse at it. So if you have an incentive to get better over the years, then it would work. And I would say, like, when you have to renew your license is when you have to retake the road test, so every 5 years.
I think that's a good plan.
How can something be unnatural if it comes from something natural? This is what I was thinking about the other day.
No, that's true.
Because we always call stuff that's processed unnatural. It's like, no, it did come from something natural.
I mean, I guess, yeah, it's just, like, kind of far removed from nature at that point.
It's not really man-made because we didn't make that a thing. It had existing components already from nature that you assembled.
Yeah, I guess there are just things that are closer to nature than others.
Why do people care about how the toilet paper is put on the roll? Because it's pretty much the same afterwards. I'm sorry. I hate to break it to you. When you put it up like that and you want your toilet paper up, it's still going to eventually come down after you pull the toilet paper.
I think it's better in the back, but either way, it doesn't really matter. There's still ways around.
State Farm and other insurance companies making these apps. So, you know, like the apps and the trackers that they put in your car? Is that eventually going to become the standard? That's what I'm wondering. So I'm not thinking it's all going to go in self-driving direction. I think it's going to go into all of our driving is going to be monitored direction.
Yeah, I think it's just another way that people can monitor us further, but, like, people are already monitoring us from the phones.
So after I fixed my phone, why are people pissed about daylight savings? Like, why not have shorter days and longer nights?
I mean, it doesn't really matter at this point because we've been living with it for so long. I think it doesn't really matter either way.
It doesn't really matter, but what matters for me is the fact that the United States is thinking about self-dividing. So, like, what? We're just gonna have time zones in different states. So if you work in New York and you live in Connecticut, Connecticut's gonna be on the gonna be on the daylight saving schedule, and we're gonna be on the regular schedule. So it's like completely different time zones for the same time zone.
I mean, yeah, it's a little weird. I feel like we should divide it by time zone.
You know what? Is it going with self-driving cars? Like, this is something that I think about. Like, what is the purpose? Are we not gonna be driving soon? Is it just gonna be all cars driving? Then what if all the cars stall? Then what's happening?
Yeah, I feel like people are gonna, if we do all have self-driving cars, it may not go well because, like, yeah, you still have to be in the car right now, and I think that sometimes people are just gonna get distracted and let the car do the work, and then one day some crazy shit's gonna happen. So I get that.
And the next one is, what if I am saving for retirement for no reason? I know it's dark, but like when you think about it, 65 is a really long time, and people typically could die at like 55 possibly. So what? You'll never hit your savings fund?
Yeah.
So then what if you spend all your time worrying about the future, but there is no future?
Yeah, or what if, like, you spend all your time living in the present and then you lose your job and have no money? Is the other side of that, you know?
But what people don't realize is it's kind of a gamble for saving in retirement. So what if life is a simulation?
Okay, Rene Descartes.
No, like, I'm serious. Sometimes I think, and I'm like, what if I'm just, like, dreaming?
That's literally the Rene Descartes philosophy theory. That's why I said that.
Well, also, there's the other part to it with what if you're just, like, a puppet in a simulation?
Yeah, that's the Matrix thing. I mean, yeah, I guess, but, like, let's just enjoy life because we're never really gonna fucking know that answer, you know? Like, who cares?
Who created the concept of time? Like, how do we decide? Like, how did we decide, like, when we decided to do time?
You kind of have to have a systemized time, otherwise nothing would be organized.
Yeah, but, like, how you decide on the system. And I'll Google it, and I still want to understand. Why do we say what's up? Like, we can say what's right, what's left. Like, I get probably, like, what's up is, like, oh, how are you feeling? Like, what's up? Like, what's good?
They say what's up because it's, like, up is, like, what's on the up and up, like what's trending, like what's going up in popularity.
But like, so then also
people say that to each other.
It's kind of stupid because it's also like, what's left, what's right, you know what I mean? You can say it's just saying a direction. Like, then say what's on the up and up, what's good, you know, say
Some
like what you
say
actually
that.
mean.
Some people do say those things, but I think what's on the up and up sounds stupid.
Yeah, so just say what's good. So I don't know, actually spicy or sour, technically it's more of a concept. But then, like, why do you react to it if you know that's the concept?
Wait, say that again.
So technically spice and sour is more like a self-reaction by your body, but it's not like something that you technically feel per se. It's not actually, like, the object isn't actually doing anything to you, kind of like how allergies don't do actually anything to you, but your body still reacts. And it's like, you knowing this with, like, tasting it, why is it sour and why is it spicy to you?
Because our body's still reacting to it against our will.
Is why do computers have touchpads? So I've always felt this way. Why? No one likes using them. They malfunction 24/7.
I guess it's like in case you lose your mouse.
But like,
too.
Why not just have a built-in mouse? Like, the mouse
Like
is attached to the computer. No, not on a wire. There's Bluetooth mouses. Like, why do we need?
Yeah, but then people
touchpad?
could lose their mouse still if it's a Bluetooth mouse. So then they have the touchpad.
That's why I'm saying they could have a place at the bottom of the computer where you put the mouse, and the mouse is automatically synced with the computer. You take the mouse out of the bottom compartment and then use it. This is
That's
just
not
like
a bad idea.
forks or spoons. This is just this debate. I always think there's one person who leans towards one of the utensils.
Forks. They're better.
I also think forks. My other one is, why don't they make foldable gaming remotes? Like, why are the remotes so bulky and they can't fold for convenience?
It's not a bad idea, kind of like, you know, like how they made the Motorola Razr. Thank you for watching.
Thank you for watching.
Have a good rest of your day.
Yeah.
Bye. End the video.